Memorial Day weekend is on the way, and a lot of people celebrate with cookouts, but it's a great time for a patriotic concert.
Hub City Harmony is a theme for the concert on the north lawn of Union University's Logos Library on May 25th. Our musical friend George Googe is going to fill us in on the details. Thank you for being with us today.
Glad to be here with y'all.
This is going to be one of the biggest patriotic events in the community. Give us a rundown on who will be performing.
Well, there's two groups performing. The Jackson area community bands, specifically our Symphonic Winds, are performing along with the Jackson Choral Society. My wife and I play with the Symphonic Winds, and our daughter, Wendy, sings with the Choral Society, just to give a connection there.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of family connections, but let's look real specifically, George, at some of the songs. A lot of favorites are going to be played, but
Right.
one of the songs, and I think you may have actually brought a prop with you today, the Liberty Bell March has a really interesting story. Can you kind of enlighten us on that story? There it is.
Yes, a concert wouldn't be complete without the Liberty Bell. It's one of those strange situations where the march was actually written first and then the title was decided. John Philip Sousa wrote this march for an operetta called The Devil's Deputy that never got off the ground. It went kaput. And then later he saw in the Columbia Exposition a presentation honoring the Liberty Bell, and he thought, aha, that's a good name for my march. So the original music doesn't have the bell part in it, but bands and orchestras have added it.
Battle Hymn of the Republic is one of the patriotic classics, but the woman who wrote it didn't exactly make a lot of money for it. What's the story with that?
Right, I think her name was Julia Howe. It was written during the Civil War and became a rallying cry during the Civil War. But after all the work that she put into it, she sold it to the Atlantic magazine for $5. And of course, that's why it became famous, is this magazine promoted it, but she didn't really make money on it.
And let's take a look at another classic, George, one that's familiar to us all, the Star-Spangled Banner. Now, that one also has a key story behind it. Can you tell us how the lyrics came about for that song?
Okay, well, Francis Scott Key was watching a bombardment, a battle in War of 1812, and saw that our flag was still there after all of this battle had occurred, and he was very touched by it. He wrote the lyrics, but the actual music came from a song from Britain, very ironically, and Britain was the one at war with us in this battle, and it was a men's club in London. There was their theme song, and it was adopted from that.
Tell us about the ties that My Country 'Tis of Thee has with England.
Of course, My Country 'Tis of Thee, again, has words that are written that apply to the United States of America, but its melody is adapted from the song God Save the Queen, talking about the Queen of England.
Okay. Now, we could talk songs and patriotic themes all day long, but let's get into what your bands actually do for this concert. How much more difficult is it to rehearse and prepare to play outdoors rather than inside when you have all those acoustics?
Well, obviously you've got a lot of moving around to do. You have to depend on natural acoustics of the outside. And we'll be setting up in front of the library, and we'll have to put everybody in position where it will sound the best. And of course, we have to be ready to run inside if rain threatens. Right.
And let's run down that plan real quick. So it's scheduled to be right outside the Logos Library here at Union. But what's the plan if, say, rain happens?
Okay, everybody brings blankets, lawn chairs, relax, get here 5 or 5:30 if you want to. It starts at 6:30.
Okay.
And in the event of rain, it will move to Union's Chapel. Well, the show will go on.
Gotcha. Well, one more time, this choral community band again. This is made up of volunteer organizations. How important is it with volunteers coming in, stepping in, and just providing just a great night for the community?
Well, it's good that there are people that are talented in our area that are willing to give their time and talent for free in order to enrich the community. And we have ties with Union. We got Dr. Veltman conducts our group. the band, and Austin Clark, recent alumni of Union, conducts the choral society. So it's a good new effort on our part to join these forces.
Well, George, it sounds like it's going to be a fun night. We thank you for stopping by with us.
Yes, thank you.
Well, coming up, we'll meet some of our city's top artists.
They'll be with us right after these messages.